Hello gentlemen, welcome to GTW BRAWL. I am Infinite Fantasy Commentator, and we have the Women's Champion, Brenda Bison, making her way to the ring, here to address the crowd here in Kansas City. Now, I am sure many of you are confused pertaining to my title defense against Amanda Price during Fright Night. That match ended when Price, rather than throwing me back in the ring, had begun to walk in circles, causing a double countout, thus resulting in me retaining my women's championship. The truth is, the reason why Amanda Price looked so confused and caused that double countout, carrying me around circles, is because during our match, she had suffered a minor head injury, causing her actions at the end of the match. She has, as of now, been taking off in-ring activity until brain scans can confirm she is healthy enough to compete again. Even though her misfortune has worked to my advantage, despite what you Americans think of me, especially you fools here in Kansas City. I am a proud champion, and I will not be satisfied retaining my championship in such a way. Amanda Price, I do not care if it is 3 minutes, 3 months, or 3 years. If I am champion when you return, we will have a rematch. I will put the title on the line, and this time when I retain my women's championship belt, it will be because I beat you legitimately in the middle of the ring. Recover well, Amanda Price. I will be waiting for you. Oh, look at this, here comes Rebecca Troy. I do not know why you're so concerned over that pushover. I, for one, am so happy her brains got scrambled. It could not happen to a more deserving woman. Rebecca Troy, what can I do for you? I am here on behalf of the old gods to tell you that you have something more important to worry about, and this concerns your partner, Andre Armstrong, as well. Tonight is the night of the mighty Hercules choosing. Tonight, me and Arcangel shall be rewarded for our loyalty and victory at Fright Night. For tonight's main event will be the Old Gods versus the Red Faction for your intergender tag team titles. Enjoy being a double champion while it still lasts. And the challenge is made, folks. Tonight, Hercules has picked the night after the conditions that he laid on Charles Elliott for the return of his son Damien. One of them was that Rebecca Troy and Arcangel, at a moment of his choosing, would have a shot at the intergender tag team championships, and it seems Hercules has picked tonight. We have our main event for GTW BRAWL, everyone, and it's going to be Brenda Bison and Andre Armstrong of the Red Faction defending their intergender tag team titles tonight against Arcangel and Rebecca Troy of the Old Gods. That'll be our main event tonight on BRAWL. Also, I'd like to take this time to announce our next pay-per-view event. We're going to have GTW, the Survivor Games, which will be live at Allentown, Pennsylvania. Now, this is a very special pay-per-view event because this features three specific matches that go on yearly at this event. One of them is called the Survivor Elimination, where two big teams, 4 versus 4, will compete. Whose teams those will be is yet to be announced. But that will be the headliner for that pay-per-view event. It will be 4 versus 4 in an elimination style tag team match. However, we also have 2 matches on top of that, and they will be called the Survivor Games. The Survivor Game matches is when you start off with 2 opponents until 2 minutes pass by and a new opponent enters the match in a Royal Rumble style elimination. However, unlike a Royal Rumble match, this will be no holds barred, and you can only eliminate your opponent by pinfall or submission anywhere in the arena. This is a 8-person falls count anywhere match. And it will keep going until there's only one competitor left. There will be one for the men's division and one for the women's division. The winner of the men's division will have a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, and the winner of the women's division will have a shot at the Women's Championship. And tonight we got 2 qualifying matches for the Survivor Games. We're going to have let's see if I can look at my papers here. We're going to have Nathan O'Gray versus Adam Cole for a qualifying match for the men's division for the Survivor Games. And we're going to also have Jamie Hayter versus Akima Sake in a qualifying match for the women's division of the Survivor Games right here tonight on BRAWL. But before we get into our amazing card tonight, we're going to have a quick break. So, Mr. Elliott, me and Adrian want to know when we will be rewarded our tag team titles. Rewarded? What are you talking about? We defeated the Syndicate at Fright Night, so we are now the tag team champions. Madison, you won by a countout. Exactly. So when do we get our belts? Madison, championships do not change hands from countouts. The Syndicate are still the tag team champions. What? I didn't know that. No one said we could not win the titles from a countout. I thought a win is a win. No offense, but how could you not know that? Every pro wrestler knows that. You know, I thought it was weird that the ref gave him the belts and not us. Well, there you go. Lesson learned. So when is our rematch? Excuse me? We were not informed of that stipulation. We want a rematch for the tag team titles, and we want them now. I'm sorry, but that's not a stipulation. It's always been that way. You know what? You know what? I don't need the hassle. I got enough going on between the Old Gods and the Outlaws haggling me for money, and my 2 top women wrestlers in the hospital, and you know what? Whatever. Fine. I'll give you the rematch. Now leave me alone. Cross my heart, hope to die? Please do not say that. It's creepy coming from you. You got your rematch on Dystopia. Don't screw this one up. Why, thank you, Mr. Elliott. Don't mention it. Like, ever. I do mean it, like, never. And also, please don't eat my heart. You're adorable. I need to take a closer look at the resumes from now on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and coming up next, we have a qualifying match for the Survivor Games between Nathaniel Gray and Adam Cole, coming right up here on GTW BRAWL.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 275 pounds, Nathaniel Gray!
Nathaniel Gray recently putting his rivalry to rest against Barry Jenkins, winning the tiebreaker match between the two, and is ready to move on. Now in his qualifying match against Adam Cole, the winner will be going on to our next pay-per-view event, the Survivor Games. In a Survivor Games match, it will be an 8-man style elimination match where it starts off with 2 opponents, and every 2 minutes a new opponent will enter the ring. There will be no disqualifications in a Survivor Games match. And it'll be falls count anywhere. You can only eliminate an opponent via pinfall or submission. The last man standing will become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. But first, Nathaniel Gray must get through Adam Cole to get into that match, and vice versa. Adam Cole must defeat Nathaniel Gray in order to qualify for the Survivor Games. And here comes his opponent, the famous Adam Cole.
And his opponent from Pennsylvania, weighing in at 201 pounds, Adam Cole!
If Adam Cole can beat Nathaniel Gray tonight, it would be a big win, qualifying in the Survivor Games. As he's from the state of Pennsylvania, the pay-per-view event would be on his home turf, as the event will be taking place in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And Adam Cole striding to the ring, confident as ever, the crowd going wild in this sold-out arena here in Kansas City. And you can see that Adam Cole is completely pumped here tonight as he's ready to take on Nathaniel Gray in this singles competition. The winner moving on to our pay-per-view event for the Survivor Games match. And we're off in tonight's opening match here on GTW BRAWL. The 2 men locking up right in the middle of the square circle, and Nathaniel Gray pushing Adam Cole back and falls with a wheelbarrow into a pin maneuver. Adam Cole immediately kicking out though, but it's not stopping Nathaniel Gray from staying on the offensive as he goes to damage the knee of his opponent. Keeping that momentum, he springs up the ropes with a big frog splash onto Adam Cole. You see Cole struggling to get up, using the ropes as leverage to pull himself onto that apron, and Nathaniel Gray taking advantage with a flying DDT onto the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring, mind you. That's all a steel frame right there that he just drove his head into. And Nathaniel Gray going to Irish whip Adam Cole into the ring. Adam Cole reverses the Irish whip. The 2 men now back in the square circle, and Nathaniel Gray coming in. How with a clothesline? Here comes the pin. 1. And Adam Cole kicks out. You can see Nathaniel Gray using that hostile offense that he used against Barry Jenkins last week on Dystopia. The two men once again grappling up in the middle of the ring. And there's Adam Cole putting Nathaniel Gray into an armbar. Amazing wrestling prowess by Adam Cole, but here's a reversal. A much more aggressive version of the armbar by Nathaniel Gray. However, Adam Cole able to break out of it with his own offensive maneuver. See Adam Cole starting to match the aggression of Nathaniel Gray here in this match. There's a lot on the line. This isn't just any singles exhibition. Here comes the pin. 1, but Nathaniel Gray gets the shoulder up before 2. Again, this is not just any exhibition match. The winner tonight will be moving on to the Survivor Games, where they'll have a chance to become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. That is what's on the line here tonight. Here comes grappling up. Adam Cole putting Nathaniel Gray in a fireman's carry. And here he is, just laying in those hits on Nathaniel Gray. Once again, matching his aggression, knowing what's on the line here. He goes for another strike. Nathaniel Gray counters. Goes for an Irish whip and a counter by Adam Cole. And a drop kick, knocking Nathaniel Gray outside the ring. And the two now fighting in front of the commentator's desk. Adam Cole with an armbar. Nathaniel Gray with a receipt, coming in with a flying Superman's punch. He's on the ring apron, sizing up his opponent. He springs up the second rope with a cross body splash on Adam Cole. And thus far, it seems Nathaniel Gray is dominating in his qualifying match going into the Survivor Games. And there he is with that joint manipulation, just tearing the arm right out of the socket of his opponent here. And Nathaniel Gray has him in that sleeper hold, putting him into a crossface that does no good outside the ring though. The referee going to count them both out here. Adam Cole and Nathaniel Gray both quickly getting in the ring. Nathaniel Gray going for his finisher move. 1, 2, but Adam Cole kicks out on 2. Once again, Gray keeps on that aggression, that offensive on Adam Cole here. And he comes with a big knee onto his opponent. Goes to size him up. Here comes an Irish whip. And a spine buster by Nathaniel Gray. He comes off the ropes. And goes for a leg drop, but nobody home. Adam Cole taking advantage of the situation as he now turns the tables, gets on the offensive on Nathaniel Gray here. And it's Adam Cole with a kick to the back. Cole off the ropes. And a knee drop right into the face of Nathaniel Gray there. You see Cole's hungry. He wants that title match. He wants the chance to get into the Survivor Games and earn his spot as the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And this is Nathaniel Gray with a cross-body splash, an amazing counter by this hardcore legend. And here comes the pin. 1, but Nathaniel Gray kicks out. There's an elbow into the face of Nathaniel Gray. Adam Cole working on that leg. You know what they say, if they can't stand, they can't fight. Adam Cole being very smart with his maneuvers, putting in all the stops, especially with that moonsault off the second rope. He's now on the second turnbuckle, sizing him up. And there's a double axe hammer by Adam Cole. Here comes an Irish whip. Nathaniel Gray off the ropes. And a big drop kick by Adam Cole. Here comes the pin. 1, 2. But Nathaniel Gray somehow kicks out. An amazing fisherman DDT by Adam Cole. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. And Adam Cole gets the win. Adam Cole will be advancing to the Survivor Games.
Here is your winner, Adam Cole!
An amazing win here tonight by Adam Cole. A big victory, allowing him to qualify for the Survivor Games match. The Survivor Games will be on pay-per-view late November, the date soon to be announced. All I know is Adam Cole will be one of the contestants in that matchup. The winner will become #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. Still to come, we got our women's qualifying match for the Survivor Games, as Akima Sake will be taking on Jamie Hayter later tonight. And don't forget our main event, as we're going to have the Old Gods versus the Red Faction for the intergender tag team titles. That is all still to come here tonight on Brawl. But first, a quick break. Are you happy now? I tried to warn you, Benjamin. I tried to warn you what that monster would do to you. If you had only listened to me. Enough! I had enough of you sticking your nose in my business, Chosen. You are going to remove this obsession over me, and we are going to do it tonight in the ring. It can be a non-title match for all I care, but I'm getting in my ring gear, and we're settling this tonight. Victoria Wong here, outside the Boston City Hospital, and I am with the World Heavyweight Champion, Dio Sebastian. Dio, your sister, the witch, has suffered many injuries in the hands of Amber Charlotte from both the ambush 3 weeks ago and Fright Night casket match. Do you have any updates on her condition? It angers me seeing my sister in such a condition, but she is strong, just like me and our father. The witch will be back on her feet real soon, and when she does, the Fallen is coming back with vengeance. I made a mistake not being with her the last time. I'm gonna stay with her until she is released. We talked and worked out our problems. Old gods, enjoy your minor victories while you can, because me and her both agree. War is coming. Hercules, you and your loyal suck-ups will regret ever laying your hands on my sister. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Earlier tonight in the backstage Chosen trying to spread his words of wisdom, and Benjamin Bourne once again taking it the wrong way has challenged Chosen to a non-title match right here on Brawl. This will be the third time these two are meeting in the ring, and it's going to happen right here, right now on GTW Brawl.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Green Bay, Wisconsin, weighing in at 231 pounds, Bad Boy Benjamin Bourne!
Here comes Bad Boy Benjamin Bourne, who recently on our last pay-per-view, our Halloween special Fright Night, had a hardcore title shot against Catalysm. And as much as Benjamin Bourne put up a fantastic fight against that monster, it just wasn't enough to put him away and take home the hardcore title. Chosen, for months now, has been trying to convince Benjamin Bourne to allow him to be his mentor, and Benjamin Bourne, being as stubborn as ever, has finally had enough. He's ready to settle things with Chosen, even without the Intercontinental title on the line.
And his opponent from Kyoto, Japan, weighing in at 202 pounds, the Intercontinental Champion, Chosen.
For months, Chosen has been trying to act as a mentor, choosing Benjamin Bourne as his protege, despite Bad Boy Benjamin Bourne's stubbornness. And he just completely blew up on Chosen in the backstage area, Chosen trying to warn him not to go against Catalysm at Fright Night. And Benjamin Bourne, being the stubborn mule he is, did not listen and completely snapped on Chosen. Tonight, these two will face off. This will be the third time we have a singles match between Chosen and Benjamin Bourne. Chosen so far winning 2-0 against his would-be protege. The title will not be on the line here tonight as a consequence. We're off, and this is Benjamin Bourne learning from his past matches against Chosen, dodging that high-risk maneuver by the Intercontinental Champion, and straight away getting the offensive. And you can see the confidence behind Benjamin Bourne. After all, after being in a hardcore match against a monster like Catalysm, what kind of challenge would Chosen be? And now he's grappling up with the Intercontinental Champion in his non-title match. This isn't about belt. Tonight is about proving a point. Each man has something to prove in this singles competition. And there's Chosen with an amazing display of athletic ability, showing why he's the Intercontinental Champion. And there's been getting the shoulder up onto. Chosen, an amazing wrestler coming from New Japan Pro. Now wrestling in the States here in GTW as our Intercontinental Champion. He is a high-flying martial arts expert against this brute force striker of Bad Boy Bourne. And here comes Chosen going for the armbar on Benjamin Bourne. There's Bourne with a shot to the ribs. However, wasn't able to counter. Chosen now putting more pressure into the armbar on Bad Boy Bourne. And an amazing arm drag by Chosen. He now has Bourne against the corner, and a flying drop kick by Chosen, and he's going in for round 2, a second drop kick by the Intercontinental Champion. And the crowd here in Kansas City going absolutely crazy in this sold-out arena. There goes an arrow drip against the ropes, and another amazing maneuver by this Flying Man from Japan. And there's Bourne coming in with a net breaker on Chosen. And he's getting rather aggressive there, slamming his head over and over. It looked like for a second he even tried pulling his mask off there. However, Chosen able to wear him off for a moment, but only a moment, as Benjamin Bourne now sizing him up. And there's Bourne going for the cover. 1, 2. However, Chosen kicks out. Here comes Bourne, measuring him up. He goes for an elbow strike and a kick to the head. And now there's Bourne, wasting a little too much time playing to the crowd. These are the exact flaws that Chosen has been talking about. He could have been using that time to stay on the offensive. He is lucky that Chosen was not strong enough to capitalize at that moment. He's Chosen on the top rope. Bad boy Benjamin Bourne with ill intentions here. He's putting a fireman's carry. He's on the second rope. And a huge drop off the second turnbuckle. Full impact. The crowd going absolutely ecstatic right now as Bourne continues his offensive barrage on Chosen. Chosen attempting to fight back against his opponent here with a chop to the chest. Bourne with a receipt. And as Bourne slapping Chosen right across the face. Bourne just countering everything Chosen has to dish at him right now. Could this be it? Could this be the time Bourne finally gets the win on the Intercontinental Champion? And there's a fisherman DDT by Bad Boy Bourne. Here comes the cover. 1, 2. No, Chosen kicks out amazingly. Here comes Bourne, playing to the crowd, coming up the ropes. Atomic elbow drop. Here comes the cover. 1, 2, 3. Bourne finally gets a win over Chosen. He is now 2-1. Benjamin Bourne finally getting a win. And uh-oh. This Catalysm going to ring. And Catalysm now attacking Chosen. And Benjamin Bourne not standing by, coming to Chosen's aid. Despite everything that Chosen and Bourne have been through, Bourne not willing to stand by and allow Catalysm to lay his reign of destruction on the Intercontinental Champion. And I don't think Chosen even knows what to think about this. For months, Benjamin Bourne has been completely rejecting him as a mentor, and now that Catalysm has come in to attack Chosen, it's Benjamin Bourne that has come to his rescue. Coming up next, folks, we still have the qualifying match for the women's division of the Survivor Games. That's going to be between Akima Sake and Jamie Hayter. And still, our main event tonight, the intergender tag team titles on the line between the Old Gods and the defending champions, the Red Faction. But first, a quick break. Hello, young Damien. What do you want? Here to rub in your dominance? Taught me for losing against Arcangel again? You only lost because your father holds you back. If he was not so protective of you, you could be so much more. You have no idea what you're talking about. Charles does not trust you, Damien. That is why he has hired the likes of the outlaws to protect you. They do not care about you, or else They would back you themselves rather than bribe a woman into fighting for you. I am not like him. Yeah, well, at least my dad never held me hostage. Well, it means to an end on my part. But I did notice your defiance, that fire in your eyes. You are a fighter, Damien. I acknowledge your potential. But you will never be your best version as long as you're the director's shadow. Food for thought. We're back, everyone, and we got quite an exchange between the mighty Hercules, the Grand Tour champion and leader of the Old Gods, as he confronts the son of Charles Elliott, Damien. And I don't know what trickery Hercules has up his sleeve or what kind of manipulation he has behind Damien. But it seems that he's acknowledging that Damien has potential. Strange from the man who a month ago had kidnapped him and held him ransom. Again, to create such demands from Charles Elliott. Demands such as giving Arcangel and Rebecca Troy a shot at the intergender tag team titles, which will be happening in tonight's main event. But before we get to tonight's main event, we have another qualifying match for the Survivor Games. This time for the women's division, we have Akima Sake versus Jamie Hayter right here on BRAWL.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making her way to the ring from Kobe, Japan. Beautiful!
And here comes Akima Sake coming to the ring. The last we saw her, she challenged Brenda Bison for the women's title at the Rising Sun out in Japan. Unfortunately, she was not able to come with the victory, losing by a tap out. Brenda Bison has pointed out herself that she has personally saw to it that Akima Sake brought this honor to her family as she wrestled in her home country. However, Akima Sake will have the chance for redemption here tonight. If she can win tonight's qualifying match, she'll be a participant in the Survivor Games, giving her the opportunity to win a #1 contendership for the Women's Champion.
And her opponent, from England, Jane A.
And here comes Jamie Hayter, former AEW wrestler, now wrestling for Grand Tour Wrestling, making her way to the ring. Another woman who recently had a chance to win championship gold as she took on the Intercontinental Champion Megan at Fright Night and came up short of victory. However, she has her eyes set on a bigger prize, the Women's Championship. If she can win tonight's qualifying match, she will be in the Survivor Games, giving her the opportunity to win a spot at the #1 contendership for the women's title. And Akima Sake's ready. Jamie Hayter's ready. The referee calling for the bell. And we're off. And there's Akima Sake going for those kicks on Jamie Hayter. This is the first time these two women will be meeting in the ring. And Akima Sake immediately going for the big news, getting in the cover. However, Jamie Hayter kicking out on one. He now grapples up with Jamie Hayter. The two women struggling in the middle of the squared circle. And there's Jamie Hayter getting Akima Sake into a headlock. Jamie Hayter now getting reversed by Akima Sake as Akima Sake applies the armbar onto her opponent. And now she applies more pressure. Remember, Akima Saki is a top wrestler out in Japan. And was, at one point, the #1 contender for the Women's Championship. She is definitely no pushover as she moves in for a swanton on to Jamie Hayter. The crowd here at Kansas City going absolutely crazy for this diva. And here comes Jamie Hayter, getting a grapple from behind Akima Saki. You can see Akima struggling to get out of the hold, wailing about. Jamie Hayter holding on for dear life here, not letting go. And here's Akima Saki getting a reversal now behind Jamie Hayter. In this competition of chain wrestling between these two women, you see Jamie Hayter now wailing about, struggling in Akima Saki's grasp. And now she grabs the head, rolling over, now putting Akima Saki into a headlock. And you see she's tightening their grip, choking out the life of Akima Saki. She wants to qualify for the Survivor Games. She wants the opportunity to become the #1 contender for the Women's Championship. And it's showing right here in this match. She now gets Akima Saki with a suplex right in the middle of the ring. You see Jamie now taunting her opponent as she goes to stop and drop on her opponent here. Here comes the cover. One. But Akima Saki kicks out on one too soon to get the cover in tonight's matchup. And the two women now going back and forth with a series of strikes. Akima Saki trying to fight back, but Jamie Hayter completely laying on that pressure on her opponent here. And there's a chop to the chest and a huge right. And it seems that Jamie Hayter has just won that exchange as she picks Akima Saki up. Looks like she's propping her for a powerbomb. The referee move out of the way. The referee barely getting grazed by that powerbomb there. And here comes Jamie Hayter on the top turnbuckle. She goes for a frog splash, but nobody home as Akima Saki moves inside the ring. And there's Akima Saki with a spinning heel kick, barely facing Jamie Hayter, who goes for an Irish whip against the ropes, followed by a big, devastating clothesline. Here comes the cover. 1, 2, but Akima Saki kicks out. There's Jamie Hayter going for that hammer in the back of Akima Saki. She's sizing her up, going for her famous Hayter clothesline. And she nails it. Akima Saki spinning out of control. Will this be enough to win the match? But no, Akima Saki gets the shoulder up, and I don't think Jamie Hayter can actually believe it. Jamie Hayter now has Akima Saki in a fireman's carry. Picks her up, laying on that pressure. Akima Saki moves out of the way of the kick. Jamie Hayter trying to keep up the offensive on her opponent here. Remember, the winner will advance to Survivor Games. Whoever wins Survivor Games will be the #1 contender for the women's title. That is what is on the line right here in this qualifying match. Jamie Hayter now throwing Akima Saki out of the ring. Here comes Hayter. Looks like she's ready to size her up. She's looking at the ropes, ill intentions in mind. She comes off the ropes and she flies out of the ring, knocking Akima Saki into the barricade. The crowd can't see the going wild right now, chanting, "This is awesome." After that amazing high-flying display by Jamie Hayter, and if I didn't know better, I would say there's a look of impressiveness on Akima Saki's face. I would say she might be enjoying this match a little too much right now. Here comes Jamie Hayter, getting to the top turnbuckle, sizing Akima Saki up. She goes for a crossbody splash. Akima Saki redirects, moves out of the way. She now rolls for the dodge, goes for a double exhale across the face. Jamie Hayter counters with a German suplex. Here comes a series of left and right. She gets behind her. Here's a takedown by Jamie Hayter. Some of that amateur wrestling in the middle of the ring. And she gets her again with a devastating clothesline. Will this be enough to put her away? 1, 2. But Akira Sake, I don't believe it, somehow still manages to kick out. Here goes Jamie Hayter. Once again, going for that German. Knocking the breath out of Akira Sake. 1, 2. But again, Akira Sake kicks out, and you can see the visible frustration on Jamie Hayter's face in this match. She's wondering what she's going to have to do to put to put her opponent away. This is incredible. Akira Sake with a clothesline alone, countering Jamie Hayter. And Akira Sake with a backbreaker on Jamie Hayter. She now jumps to the top turnbuckle. High risk maneuver in mind. And there's a frog splash by Akira Sake. 1, 2. And Jamie Hayter kicks out on 2. Despite that impressive frog splash by Akira Sake. There goes Akira Sake, sizing her up. Another impressive display. And Akira Sake gets the win. Akira Sake will be advancing to the Survivor Games.
Here is your winner, Beautiful.
An impressive victory by Akira Sake here tonight at Kansas City. And she looks so proud. She will be moving on to the Survivor Games. If she can win that match, she will be the #1 contender for the women's title. But the question is, who will be the other 7 opponents at our next pay-per-view event? Coming up next, we still have our main event. The Old Gods versus the Red Faction. But first, a quick break. Here comes Hercules, making his way out to the ring. The Grand Tour champion looking to address the crowd here in Kansas City. Here tonight. Kansas City. Have I not proven myself? I met Dynamite in Hell in a Cell. Without any help, I have not only defeated Dynamite, not only defended my Grand Tour Championship, I have completely and utterly defeated the self-proclaimed Chosen One. Now Dynamite, there are no more excuses. Come out here and acknowledge me as your true God. And here comes Dynamite, make his way to the ring. Kansas City. Your chosen one is here. There he is, at last. The moment is at hand. Do not be shy, Dynamite. I have given you what you wanted. You got your rematch. I kept my word. I won fair and square. Now let me hear it. I have to hand it to you, as much as it pains me. I have to give you your flowers. You won, straight up. No Arcangel, no Rebecca Troy. On Fright Night, you, Hercules, the Grand Tour champion, were the better man. Enough stalling, Dynamite. Keep your word. Acknowledge me as your real God. As your God, or face a God's wrath. Listen, understand that what I'm about to say is not easy. You beat my ass. Straight up. And I am man enough to admit it. So Hercules, I acknowledge you. I acknowledge that you are a very strong man with a God complex. What did you say? I said, you are still a false god. I do not care how many times you beat me. I will never, ever give you the satisfaction in the end of the day, Herc. I just do not respect you. You son of a... Steven Dynamite, I swear, you say it or else I will. Do what? This? And there's Dynamite attacking Hercules, hitting with the microphone, and here's Hercules rolling around, throwing punches at Steven Dynamite. And here comes Hercules with a Superman punch on Steven Dynamite here. Dynamite throwing the first punch on Hercules, and now here's Hercules now giving the chosen one, Steven Dynamite, his receipt. And there he is, throwing him, his throat across the rope there. And he throws Steven Dynamite out of the ring. What's Hercules doing? He's grabbing the steel stairs. That's 345 pounds of muscle holding the steel stairs, and he just throws it right over Dynamite there. And seeing as these two are now making their way up the steel ramp. And what's he doing? He's dragging Dynamite all the way up the ramp. What does he have planned? He's got ill intentions in mind, no doubt. Hercules, I don't know what you're thinking, but don't do it. Don't you think about doing it. This is a man's life you're playing with here. Don't do it, Hercules. Oh, he just slammed him onto the steel stage. And a belly-to-belly suplex off the stage. He just threw Dynamite off the stage. And an atomic elbow drop. That's gotta be 15 feet off the air there. I don't believe it. He just completely destroyed Steven Dynamite. It was Hercules demanding that Steven Dynamite acknowledge him as a god after he defeated him, defending the Grand Tour title in a Hell in a Cell match at Fright Night. And Steven Dynamite just paid for his insolence, just paid for his heresy in the hands of the Grand Tour champion, the mighty Hercules. Coming up next, folks, we got our main event, so don't go away. The Old Gods versus the Red Faction, the intergender tag team titles on the line. That's coming up next on BRAWL. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for tonight's main event here on Grand Tour Wrestling Brawl. We just saw Hercules decimate the Chosen One, Steven Dynamite, throwing him off that 15-foot stage at the entranceway after he defiantly refused to call Hercules a god, going as far as to just acknowledge him even further as a false god. And now, we got more action with his underlings, being accompanied by the ring by Amber Charlotte. Arcangel and Rebecca Troy now have a chance to become intergender tag team champions as they take on Brenda Bison and Andre Armstrong, who are both double champions. The intergender tag team champions, the women's champion and European champion, will be in the ring. The Old Gods versus the Red Faction Intergender Tag Team Championship main event right here on Brawl. I can only imagine how motivated the Old Gods feel right now after watching that power play by their leader Hercules as he completely destroyed Steven Dynamite. That very stage that they're walking down the ramp of is what their leader just threw their enemy off of after being completely defiant. The Old Gods looking to take control of Grand Tour Wrestling, starting here. Hercules, now the Grand Tour champion, and now Rebecca Troy and Arcangel looking to receive that tag team gold. If they secure victory tonight, the only one in the faction without a championship belt will be Amber Charlotte, who after destroying the Witch at Fright Night in a casket match may not be far behind. That is the woman right there praising to Arcangel that single-handedly destroyed the Witch at Fright Night, locking her inside the casket box, burying her alive. That is the woman right there who buried the Witch in what was the bloodiest match I've ever got to commentate on, the bloodiest match I've ever seen with my own two eyes. I saw it right in front of me at the announcer's desk. The whole arena covered in blood. Amber Charlotte has just proven that she might be one of the most dangerous ones in the Old Gods faction. And you can see Arcangel and Rebecca Troy ready as they point to the sky, pointing to the heavens. They are ready to prove their worth to their master Hercules. However, the Red Faction are not a team to be trifled with. Will they secure the victory here tonight? You see the arena completely quiet, still in awe here in Kansas City after what they just saw their leader do. All praise the old gods. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event for tonight. Championship gold on the line. This is an opportunity that Arcangel and Rebecca Troy simply just cannot waste. And here comes their opponents, the tag team champions. The Red Faction, two halves of a machine. You got the Russian assassin, Brenda Bison, who is also the holder of the GTW women's title. And then you have the Russian gladiator, Andre Armstrong, who is also the holder of the GTW European Championship. And together, they are also the intergender tag team champions. And they will be defending right here tonight. This will, I believe, be their first title defense after winning against the family over a month ago. You can see the focus on Brenda Bison there. She is ready. She is not afraid of these two gods, and neither is Andre Armstrong. It is not often that we have teams of these magnitudes get in the ring with each other. Neither one are fan favorites, but if I had to pick tonight, I think I would go with the Red Faction. And there they are with their other championship belts, the European and women's title on their shoulders, the intergender tag team titles now displayed right here by the announcer's desk. And I can see it in their eyes. These two are ready to defend their tag team titles. These proud warriors from Russia, not ready to back down to what they believe to be false gods.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall and is for the Mixed Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers, the Olympian Rebecca Troy and Arcangel, the Old Gods. And their opponents, the Mixed Tag Team Champions and the Women's Champions, the Assassin Brenda Bison and the Russian Gladiator Andre Armstrong, the Red Faction.
And there they are, holding up the intergender tag team titles, which will be on the line here in tonight. We're starting off with Rebecca Troy and Brenda Bison as the legal women in tonight's intergender tag team match. There's Brenda Bison with a German suplex on the Olympian Rebecca Troy. The Russian assassin going to work. Again, neither one of these teams are fan favorites. Both considered to be hated by the public here in the United States. However, if I had to take my pick between these two teams, I think I would rather see the Red Faction take the win here tonight. Because honestly, I have absolutely no respect for the old gods after the heinous acts they've been pulling as of late. At least, if anything else, Brenda Bison has honor as a women's champion, refusing to take up her successful title defense against Amanda Price because of a concussion that happened on Fright Night, and has said that once she is recovered and fully able to get in the ring, she intends to hold on to a women's championship the correct way, and that's with a pinfall or submission in the middle of the ring, and not because of Amanda Price's brains being scrambled, causing confusion, causing a double countout. Here comes Andre Armstrong, throwing Rebecca Troy against the ropes, and there's a German suplex by the Russian Gladiator onto the Olympian Empress, and there's Rebecca Troy with a corkscrew. And there's Rebecca Troy getting on the offensive on the European champion, and she goes to tag in her partner Arcangel. Andre Armstrong tagging Brenda Bison, who comes with a flying elbow onto Arcangel. And even though I think Arcangel has the power advantage, Brenda Bison is very calculating, knows how to utilize her speed to her advantage. There's Arcangel with an Irish whip. Brenda Bison able to catch herself on the ropes and then rolls Arcangel into a pin. However, Arcangel kicks out. Hercules had to pull a lot of strings to get this tag team title opportunity. The kidnapping of Damian Elliott is what opened the door for these two to have this opportunity. And thus far, it seems the Red Faction dominating in this match. And here's Andre Armstrong with a leg drop onto Arcangel. Here comes the cover. One. However, Arcangel gets the kick out. Too early in this match to get a 3. You see Andre Armstrong picking him apart, putting Arcangel in that submission hold, looking for an early tap out, but Arcangel manages to counter. And there's a big boot to the face by Arcangel. Here comes the pin. Andre Armstrong kicking out before even a 1 count. You see Andre Armstrong taking a beating as Arcangel puts out all the stops to that flying kick. He Irish whips Andre Armstrong into the corner. There's Arcangel tagging in. Rebecca Troy as the Old Gods go for a double team maneuver, an Irish whip followed by a double shoulder tackle. And there's Rebecca Troy working on the leg of Andre Armstrong. And what's Amber Charlotte doing? She just exposed the turnbuckle there. I knew it. I knew that Amber Charlotte could not get in this match without playing some kind of dirty tactic in this tag team match. And there's the referee putting on turnbuckle padding, thank God, noticing it right away. However, it's keeping him distracted as Arcangel goes for an illegal knee to the face. He goes for the cover, however, Brenda Bison able to break it up immediately. There's Arcangel going for the kick onto Andre Armstrong, and there's Andre Armstrong with a counter, using a devastating clothesline on his opponent here. An amazing suplex by the Russian Gladiator. Andre Armstrong, trained as an Olympian wrestler. And here comes Brenda Bison, originating in GTW as his agent. Now, his equal tag team partner, the women's champion, half of the intergender tag champions, unleashing a fisherman suplex into a pin roll-up. However, Rebecca Troy able to break up the count. And here comes Brenda Bison going for that famous crossface, looking for the tap out. She has defeated both Akima Sake and Amanda Price with this move. And there's Amber Charlotte distracting Brenda Bison there. I think Brenda Bison should be less worried about the woman outside the ring in the Old God's corner and more on her opponent there. This could be a mistake that could cost them the tag team titles if Brenda Bison is not careful. And now, Brenda Bison and Arcangel fighting outside the ring. And there's Arcangel with a knee to the face. And there he is, working on the leg of Brenda Bison. Remember, as we learned on Fright Night, a title cannot change hands via countout. Arcangel better be very conscious of this. And here it is, the joint manipulation. Where it's 7 on that countout. Arcangel, you gotta get Brenda Bison in that ring. And Brenda Bison gets in just in the nick of time. Brenda Bison attempts to drag Arcangel into the corner. Arcangel with those shots to the ribs on Brenda Bison. And he rolls her into a pin. Brenda Bison kicks out though. And here goes a shot to the gut. Brenda Bison taking out Arcangel. Here goes an Irish whip into the corner. Brenda Bison about to tag in Andre Armstrong, but gets an elbow to the face. But here she comes, giving Arcangel the receipt with a European uppercut. And Arcangel with an impressive reversal on Brenda Bison himself. And the Russian assassin's down. Andre Armstrong gets the tag in. Now it's the two men in the middle of the ring as Andre Armstrong puts Arcangel in a sleeper hold. Looking for that tap out to retain the tag team titles. Managed to get out of it. The Old Faction temporarily double teaming Arcangel, and there's Andre Armstrong with the pin. And they successfully retain the intergender tag team titles. It seems the old gods, I'm sorry, the false gods, were not enough for the Red Faction here tonight.
And the assassin, Brenda Bison, the Red Faction.
What an amazing win by the Red Faction, once again proving that they are in fact the false gods. They are proving to the crowd right now why they are the best. An amazing win by Andre Armstrong and Brenda Bison here tonight on BRAWL. I can only imagine what retaliation Hercules has for these two later on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here tonight. Tune in this Saturday for the live stream of GTW Dystopia. And don't forget that in late November, the date will be announced soon, we have our next pay-per-view event, the Survivor Games. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to put those notifications on so you know when the next GTW show is broadcasting. And don't forget to share. This is Infinite Fantasy signing out. May your fantasies be infinite.